Oh, hey there. I was just remembering that time that I launched Sydney Cinema Club and made $32. G'day, it's Mark from Failurist here. Welcome back to those that couldn't get enough of the last video and to the newbies, welcome. Okay, so this is constant failures.
Fun facts.
Okay, fun fact. I have actually never launched a successful enterprise to date. Um, and I say up until this date because I have launched a failure company. So if this company fails, it would have actually succeeded. But if it succeeds, it fails? All right, time out. I think I need to have a lie down. Whew, had to lie down with that one. Look, I had a bit of a nap. No full disclosure because that made my head hurt. So what we're talking about, fun facts, yeah? So fun fact, this is my 10th attempt at trying to launch a business. And through my 9 other attempts, the grand total of my revenue was $61. And I'm not going to talk to you about the time. I'm not going to talk to you about the heartache or the spend. But yeah, I should just give up, right? I've done it plenty of times, and each time it sort of becomes easier to just to throw it in. But I think there's so much good out of constantly failing. First, I want to address the obvious thing: is that failure feels absolutely horrible. It just does, and there's something really embarrassing about failing, especially the first couple of times, and especially if you're very public in your ventures, or people see this overt event that has taken place. It really does feel like when you're in year 3 and you've sort of wet yourself, and then everybody turns around and laughs. Or that's my experience. So I don't know if I've just if that's like a common thing, but yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. But then you sort of think about, why are you starting these ventures or businesses in the first place? It's because you intend to serve, you intend to change and to help, and make this world a better place. So it is a life that's lived with intent. When you start a business, you are intending to help, to change. And you cease to become a participant in life. You cease to become a passenger in life. I'm not going to cut this one. This one is staying. You become a participant. You know what? It's called failurist, so deal with it. We tend to judge failure based on the outcome. We never salute success based on the attempt. Will people laugh when you fail? Maybe. Will they ridicule? Maybe. But here's the truth as I see it. Most people will not give a flying fig. Whenever we sort of go through these failure events, we tend to think that everybody sees life through our lens. But the reality is that we all see life through our individual lenses. And maybe others sort of come into the lens now and then, but they are not the feature. It's our individuality and our ego that is the feature. So generally speaking, people don't care. But you will also have those that may ridicule or may laugh or laugh behind your back. But have you ever noticed that people that are overly critical don't really tend to do anything? They just tend to criticize, because the reality is they just don't have the stones to try. And that's a thing. Those people that know, empathize, because they've been in your shoes. Every sort of successful entrepreneur can tell you about the mountains of failures that they've had in order to get there. So, when you tend to fail, they understand that that's part of the journey. Okay? Because being an entrepreneur or having a small business, it's kind of a lone wolf thing.
Story time.
Jesus Christ. All right, so I'll tell you, I asked AI to give me a story time of Didier the Dodo, and that was absolutely terrifying. All right, what are we talking about? Story time. Okay, yep. So in 2015, I was made surplus to requirements in my job. Um, got a little bit of money, and I thought, you know what? This is the time. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I've sort of tried to start bits and pieces on the side. Let's just dedicate to this one concept. And that concept was Sydney Cinema Club. As a parent, I thought that there was a market for time poor people um, to just go see a movie and see it with sort of other people that share the same sentiments. And the cinephiles that sort of love movies. You could sort of say, oh, this movie is on at 9 o'clock at Central Cinemaplex, and come along, and you didn't necessarily have to know the other people because you shared a sort of similar passion, and you could sort of unpack that afterwards, go for ice cream, go for coffee, go for whatever. And I thought there was a market there for that type of business. I did all the right things, I did the research, I sort of promoted the heck out of it through all the socials. At that stage, it was only Facebook that was really the socials. And yeah, it's sort of really difficult to talk about, but it was an out and out failure. Like, I promoted it, and I was like, look at me, look at me, look at me. This is going to change the world, blah, blah, blah. I set a launch date, and kept promoting, and on the day of the launch, I only had one ticketed response, and that was a family friend. And I'm pretty sure they felt really sorry for me, so they sort of attended. I couldn't even tell you what the movie was as well. I just remember that sort of really sense of throughout the movie just feeling embarrassed and ashamed. You know what? And then after that, I stuck with it, and people started to attend, and it became like this movement. Nah, not really. Come on. The company's called Failurist. So what did I do? I sort of kept up appearances a little bit longer, but like I quit at the first opportunity. And then I went into my shell, and I just got a job, and got the hell out of a Dodge, and you know, just failed. And it sort of was the start of other things sort of not going right, and that was 10 years ago. And since that time, I've tried to launch other ventures without success, but here I am constantly failing. And the really funny thing is the more that you fail, the more you see it as just an event. It is. You start to then rush towards failure because you've got to know that the venture is something or it's nothing. So you go through it. You go through the motions. Now, did I have a budget for the other ventures? No, I had no money, holding down a regular job like I do now. So, the last venture at the beginning of the year, I spent like $4,500 or something. But now what I'm doing is YouTube and a mic and a camera, and that's okay. Because at the end of the day, my failure is my precursor to my success. And it's made me iterate to the point where I've gotten to this point. And that's what I wanted to say is that, we are the game changers, us that fail, and take our licks, take our lumps, and go again.
Lessons learned.
All right, so the lesson is, in order to fail big, you actually have to put something on the line. Capital, time, reputation. Something has to be there. And if you don't try, guess what? You will not fail. That is an immutable truth. but you won't succeed either. And you'll just end up being a critic, nothing on the line, and just becoming resentful of other people and having the opinions, but never willing to risk it for the biscuit. Also, the more that you fail, the less it hurts, and the more you build that sense of resilience. And pretty soon you start to feel that all failure you can view with the same lens, just an event. Take the learnings, unpack it, see how you can improve, and then enact those improvements and iterate. So I have a degree in applied science, sports management, and here I am fronting a failure company. It just goes to show that success and purpose doesn't reveal itself straight away, but eventually, if you keep trying, it will. Just not in the way you think.
Trade proposal.
All right, trade proposal time, my favorite time. I have a trade proposition for you. What the team is offering you is the Bounce Back Blueprint Bundle. Try and say that 4 times in a row. I dare you. And what it is there are 2 journals, the Everyday Fail Journal and the Big Fail Journal. And they're just tools to help you sort of unpack and understand failure, take the lessons from it, and then try and put it in place as a precursor to success. It also gives you access to the Failurist list as well. So click on the link below and go to Trade Central and review the proposal. Rafael de Sousa is calling it the steal of the century. So, yeah, it's good. Okay, so parting thoughts. I just want you to know that you can go to failurist.com. If you need to talk, we've got a booking there. You can talk to me. I can relay my sort of failure events, and or we can go through yours, or just have a general conversation about failure and sort of getting comfortable with that and building that sort of sense of resilience. There are anecdotes from my experiences with failure, and just some really good resources there as well. Also, if you have any thoughts about this video, feel free to drop it in the comment screen. But just don't talk about the jokes, because I know they're bad. They're granddad jokes, so just spare my sort of ego on that one. And talking of ego, if you actually like this video, I'm not going to lie, a like would be great. Yeah, but if you want to subscribe to like Huberman Lab or something like that. Because like I've said before, I look at these sort of video lists coming, man, and they're dark. They're going to be, the fact is it's a failure company, so we're not going to be talking about sort of picking trees and birds and bees. It's going to be some pretty dark stuff. So yeah, go to him and give him a subscribe or something like that. Anyway, regardless of what you do, I just hope that you realize that you are awesome. You're okay. No matter how this finds you, just keep turning up. Just keep taking those lumps, and you'll eventually start to see that these are events that we experience and that you are more resilient than you know. Okay, so if this is the last time we sort of interact through this medium, then I wish you nothing but good things. All right, that's it. Arrivederci.